Good evening. Happy to be here in Roslyn tonight. This lecture will be Leilui Nishmat Torah bat Beryl and Moshe ben Chaim, and Atzlacha of Yaakov Chaim ben Moshe, Levi Yitzchak ben Chaya Rachel should grow up in Torah, Chuppah, and Maasim Tovim, Bezrat Hashem. Also לרפואת Itzel bat Libya, רפואה of Reuven ben Chava, Bezrat Hashem, and all the Jews and the other people that got wounded in Florida in a collapse of the building, if you heard the news. Bezrat Hashem, hopefully those who wounded will be able to have refuah shlema. Those who passed should have ilui neshama. As you can see, we have one tragedy after the other. Before we digest one, we already get another one coming, and another one, and another one. And it's already been going for a year and a half that the midat adin, the judgment of Hashem against us, is very, very strict. I heard that the building over there in Surfside, Florida, is right next to Chabad there. And I assume that the Jews that missing there, more than 20 of them, are probably religious people. And it's very interesting how almost all the tragedies are directed on Orthodox people. One person asked me today, there's so many wicked people in the world, don't keep Shabbat, don't keep anything. It doesn't seem that Hashem is very angry at them. Everything that happens against the religious people. Corona, most of the dead were Orthodox people. The tragedy of Meron, everyone was Orthodox. Not only Orthodox, Talmidei Yeshivot. Then there was another tragedy in Givat Ze'ev, Leil Shavuot, 3 people died. Was all Hasidei Stalin, Hasidim. And now, if it's true that the news is 20 Jews are missing in this building, the whole building collapsed in the middle of the night. Middle of the night, meaning everyone is at home. If it would be during the day, 80% wouldn't be home. But it's when Hashem wants to do something, He chooses the time. Obviously, if He wanted more people to die, He does it at night. If He just wanted to destroy property, He would do it in a time that people are not home. And when it happened at night, it means that Hashem was aiming to actually take people out of this world. More than 100 people overall are missing. Their assumption is that 20 of them are Jewish. So the guy asked me today, what's going on? Why all the tragedies are aimed towards religious people? So I answered him, people that are reform, conservative, very secular, atheist, Democrats, all these people, Schumer, Bernie Sanders, half of Israel, they already lost case. Hashem doesn't have any expectation from them. What is it going to help to give a tragedy to them? Will they even understand that it's the hand of Hashem? Will they do tshuva? Will they wake up to become better? Absolutely not. They would say nature, they will blame the architect, they will blame the city, they will blame the weather, they will blame the police. They will find who to blame. But they are never ever going to look at it as the hand of Hashem is angry at us, is giving us patches to wake up. They have no tools to understand those tragedies. But Orthodox people, they know everything that happened is the hand of Hashem. Not one little stone falls from anywhere and hit anyone without Hashem's approval on Rosh Hashanah. If Orthodox people don't understand that, that's really officially the end of us. Because how Hashem is going to wake us up to do tshuva? If that's not going to happen, that's not going to help. The situation is extremely, extremely bad. Now you would think that after Corona, people would lower their lifestyle. Less show off, less, pride and ego and all this nonsense. In reality, it got worse. It didn't become any better. People are more hungry for material, right? As soon as they open some borders, as soon as they open their vacation resort, right away people like they never saw in their life vacation. Like crazy, everywhere. What happened? What's going on? Can't live without it. Concerts, as soon as they open the concert in Israel, right away everyone like crazy, filling it up, running after that. Nobody gets the point. I said about a month or a month and a half ago about all the Jews that leave New York and move to Florida. So who say it's a good thing? It's terrible. What's good about it? Oh, New York is Democrat, it's terrible. Look what's going on here. True. But New York has more than 500,000 Orthodox people, religious people. 1,000 yeshivot New York has. 500-600 mikvaot, thousands of synagogues, yeshivot for kids, empire of Torah, everywhere you go, Borough Park, Williamsburg, Lakewood, Monsey, Monroe, 5 towns, Roslyn, and other places. Roslyn barely came out of my mouth. I had to push it. But then I realized it's such a nice synagogue here. As soon as I thought about your holy Rav, it came out. Baruch Hashem. Roslyn, Great Neck, there's places of Torah. Yes, in Florida you have few yeshivot, you have few synagogues. I'm not saying no. But the atmosphere in the street, it's like Sodom and Gomorrah. You walk there and you feel like you're in Sodom. Everyone is naked. It's a place of vacation. You don't feel closeness to Hashem. It's very difficult to be religious in places like this. When 11 months of the year, everyone around you is naked. How you can be close to Hashem? You walk into a pharmacy. People walk with bathing suit in a pharmacy. In a bathing suit, you walk with your little religious kids in the aisle. Naked women comes in front of you. Can you live in a place like this and stay tzaddik? It's baloney. Why people want Florida? Enough with their nonsense and their lies. For one reason, for more vacation, for more sea, for more oceans, for more pools and sun and all the rest. There's no other reason. There's now one thing in Florida that is better than here. The yeshivot are not better, the synagogue are not better. The houses here are pretty enough. In Long Island you have pretty homes. You don't need to go to Miami to have a nicer home. What do? They try to save the 8.5% sales tax. State tax. Rent a little place over there and you put your address over there. No big deal. You can have an address there. Nobody say you have to destroy your children in order for you to save a little bit on the taxes. So now Hashem sees what's going on. Thousands of people moving to Florida. What's in Florida? To Israel, unfortunately, nobody can move anymore. That's it. They closed the border. A year and a half already, nobody can make aliyah. They waste people time. Give me this, give me that, get me that. But I gave it to you 6 times already. How many more times are you going to ask for the same thing? You already confirmed you got it. Why a week later you ask for the same thing? And you transfer my case to another guy and he asks the same thing. And this is the way they do it. They want you to give up. They don't want religious Jews in Israel. The wicked people took over. They control the Jewish agency. Every Orthodox they see, immediately they begin to torture him. If they see a Reform gay, in 3 weeks he's approved. Him and his husband. Immediately. But if they see an Orthodox family, the nightmare begins. I'm talking from experience. I have more than 100 families who are being tortured between 1 to 6 years already, include my neighbor. He told me, Baruch Hashem, I sold the house, next door neighbor to me, and we're moving to Eretz Israel. That was 2 months ago. I say to him, don't be naive. He said, no, we gave them all the papers. They confirmed they have everything. He's a tzaddik. He doesn't have any evil in him. He cannot imagine that people, especially Jews, Israeli, can be so evil. He doesn't know. He lives in Monsey with religious people, grew up all his life religious. He doesn't know evil people. I told him, my friend, take long breath. It's going to take a long time until they'll let you move. No, but 2 months, back to square one. He has no place to live. He has to go to live by his kids. That's what they do to people. They torture us that we should not make aliyah to Israel. Would you ever believe that if one day you would want to run from here, from the anti-Semitism or from the riots, and you would like to run to the Holy Land, Jews from the Erev Rav will fight you and not let you in? They took over, they stole Israel. They stole Israel. That's what's happening now, Rabotai. That's what's happening right now. If you are an Israeli citizen, you can go in. But if your wife is not, she cannot go in. I know a couple, the husband is American but Israeli citizen. The wife is not Israeli citizen, but her father is. They didn't let them in. They arrived to Israel. They shamed them in front of everyone with screaming like Nazis. And they put them back on a flight and sent them back. And even the girl were begging to go to the bathroom. They on purpose did not let her go to the bathroom. And they grabbed their passport and will give it to you when you get on a flight. Like Nazis, mamash like Nazis. When they see religious people, their hate rise to the highest level you can imagine. This is in Israel airport. As soon as they see a religious person, is mamash like the Nazis used to see Jews. Same exact reaction. That's Israel right now. You should know that. So what are we going to do? You see, it's all from Hashem. If Hashem turned this Erev Rav against us, He wants us to suffer more, obviously. Why does Hashem allow such a thing? In the end, everything needs the approval of Hashem. If Hashem did not want it to happen, He can take them from the world in a second. But the fact that Hashem gave them the power to take over Israel together with the Arabs and the rest of the lefties is just show you that Hashem is really disgusted by us, the people with the yarmulke on their head, the people with the beards, the people with what we call Orthodox. Otherwise, we would not be a target on a weekly basis. We see what's happening. So many problems. It's crazy. It's very depressing. And we have really, right now we are what the Gemara says in Masechet Sotah, ואין לנו על מי לסמוך אלא על אבינו שבשמיים. But we have to really become serious now. Because if not now, when? אם לא עכשיו ומתי? If not, we all will not unite, we chas v'shalom can miss the train. Chas v'shalom, we can miss the train. This lefty government, they were for 3 days, they just got into the power. 3 days, not more than that. They just walked into office. What was the first decision? Who knows? To send inspectors to all the Orthodox yeshivot and fail them. Count, if 1 or 2 guys are missing, fail their budget. The government gives a little bit to each one of the students, the married one. About $170 a month. How much they give an Arab student every year? Each Arab terrorist, who all declare that they want to slaughter all of us, they're not hiding it. Almost all of them, 98% of them. Declare on the open. They walked in the streets of Lud screaming death to the Jews. And they are Israeli citizens. How much the Israeli give them? 104,000 shekel budget that they should become doctors. Now they become doctors. Half of the doctors in Israel are Arabs. Half. And the nurses. Some of them are good people. You come, they treat you nice. I'm not saying no. But some of them are Hamas murderers. Doctors. In their Facebook page with no shame. On the open. They know Jews watch it. They know people from the hospital read it. Colleagues. They write. It's time to increase the jihad. Kill all Jews. Now imagine you go the next day to surgery by this Muhammad. He has to operate on your brain or on your heart. When last night he put in his Facebook page, dead to the Jews, jihad. That's what's happening in Israel. Some of them are lawyers, doctors, and even judges. Judges in a secular court. You come, few of the judges are Arab. If Arabs would be faithful to Israel and they would be okay with the Jews, I can care less. It will be a Jew or an Arab, a judge. Either way, they don't follow the Torah. So it wouldn't make a difference. But here, you already have an enemy that has an agenda to murder you. You go to his courtroom, what are your chances to ever get a fair trial? Or a doctor, or a lawyer, or anyone else. So this is what happened to us. Hashem turned everything around. We counted on the Zionists, we counted on the government, we counted on the Israeli army, we counted on his police, we counted on America. Everything we counted on is dismissed. There's no more Israeli government. It was taken by the lefties, Erev Rav, and the Arabs. Okay. Army, all the chief of commands are lefties, one by one. Look at them. As soon as they retire from the army, they all go all the way to the left, like Bernie Sanders. He is in charge of the Israeli army, and he called for death to Israel. How can he be the head of the army when his ideology is that the Palestinians should kill us and they should succeed? Can he ever give an order to the army to go and do the right thing? Did you realize that in the last 30 years, the Israeli army only bombed empty places? For 2 weeks, they did not kill barely anyone. 2 weeks bombing and bombing, thousands of bombs. In the end, 50 Palestinians. What is this? There should be in one bombing more than that. Nothing. They sent flyers before. In 1 hour, we will bomb the building. Please evacuate. That's what they do. Why? They're afraid of the world. They're afraid of the Europeans and America and Joe Biden and Talib, Walib, all this, the rest of the garbage. They're afraid of them. They bark very loud. Right? So they're afraid of them. Hashem put handcuffs on our hand to show us that the army is worthless. Literally worthless. And the Israeli police, no, maybe they will watch us. The people like me and you, no? Israelis join the police. The Arabs shooting in Lud at Jews, bombing them, killing them, hitting them with the cars. And what the Israeli police do? They collect the guns from few Israelis in Lud that have it with permit for self-defense. Moshe Cohen, yes, you have a gun, right? By permit, number such and such, yes. You have to give it to us until further notice. Why? I have a permit. Because of the situation, we got an order to collect all the guns from the Jews. But every Arab here has 15 guns in his house. It's all gangs here. That's the orders, I'm sorry. Now they're making a gay parade. They're going to have tens of thousands of gays marching in Tel Aviv, then in Jerusalem. What do you think happened before? They flood Israel with their lousy flags, and they send police. For that, they have money. They send police to everyone they monitor on Facebook that speak against the gays. Not kill them or that we should burn them, nothing like that. Just speaking that it's disgusting. What's the point of making all these parades? Why a man that loves a woman should walk with a flag to say, I love women? What are you trying to say? Enough with this already. Anyway, you brainwash everyone non-stop. Things like that, democratic conversation. They come to the house a day before or 2 days before. Hi, we monitor your post on Facebook. Please give us your laptop and give us your phone. Call us after the parade and we'll tell you when to come pick it up. What's your passwords? Write it down. Police. Or people that demonstrate against it, now they send each one of them few police to the house. In Israel, everyone film. That's how I know it. I get those films. They film when the police come and knock on his door, right away turn the phone on. You know, because by law, they cannot tell you shut the phone. It's also a stupid law. Policemen come and you put a camera in his face. It's a stupid law, but at least we know what's going on thanks to those films. And they threaten you. You're planning to come to the demonstration tomorrow? To the gay parade? Yes. What's wrong with that? It's a democratic country. I have the right to it's a legal demonstration. We don't suggest you come. We'll be waiting for you there. They intimidate you. Why? What's wrong? I want to stand and scream against this abomination. If I would be you, it wouldn't be a wise decision to come. Trust me. Take my advice, don't show up. That's Israel right now. So, remember, it sounds that they are wicked and they are doing it. Don't get the wrong impression. It's all us. Each one of us caused that situation. Each one of us. We have to accept responsibility. Modeh ve'ozev yerucham. If you're not admitting, you will never have mercy from Hashem. You can find a lot of excuses. You come to your children. You have 5 kids. One of them is tricking you. Conniving. All kinds of, The other one, honest. Who did not do this and that? Who did not clean? Who used that without permission? I'm sorry, it was me. That's a good kid. What's the other one? It was him. I don't know who he was. It wasn't me. I wasn't the last one there. Always throw responsibility at someone else. When you have 2 kids like that, when one right away take responsibility and say, I'm sorry, I was wrong, right away, 80% of your desire to punish him or to take something away from him is dead. Because you say, what's the point of giving him a punishment? He already accepted responsibility and say that he will work on it. It should not happen again. The other one will always throw it on him and blame her and blame the mother. And it wasn't me. No, it's not true. You didn't tell me. You didn't mean I didn't understand you. Excuses. Those are the ones who usually end very bad. And that's most of us. Excuses. You ask an average Orthodox Jew, what is the reason that Israel is suffering? He's going to say the secular people, he's going to say the lefties, all this Mechalelei Shabbat, all the gay parades, the corrupted government, the Arabs inside, the Arabs outside, United States. Everything is true. They are the tool that Hashem is using against us. But if Hashem wants us to be freed for them, all he needs is 5 seconds, and it's all over. 5 seconds. Hashem can collapse their government in a second. Hashem can collapse United States in a second. Everything he can do in a second. There's no limitation by Hashem. The fact that we continue to receive more and more punishments, is because we deserve it. And if someone think that we got one little thing that we don't deserve, it's heresy. It's against the 13 principles of Judaism. There are 13 principles that the world is standing on, that Judaism is standing on. One of them is that Hashem reward the righteous and punish the wicked. If you do not believe in that, you're not a kosher Jew. If you're a goy that would like to convert to Judaism and you don't believe in reward and punishment, they're not allowed to convert you. You can never be a kosher Jew because the 13 principles, you have to adopt all of them. One of them is you have to believe the Messiah would come and redeem the world. If you don't believe in Messiah, you can never be a kosher Jew. One of them is that one day there will be the resurrection of the dead, that all righteous people from all past generations will rise to life. That's a must belief concept. If you say, come on, I'm a university graduate, I'm a doctor, do you expect me to believe that dead people after 1,000 years would rise from the grave? Logically, you're right. We are not talking human logic here. We're talking the creator of the world. If you can come out from a drop, see this drop? That's how a human being come to the world from. One drop, that's all. Drop. of liquid. Turn into a big chacham. Big, 6 feet tall, strong, muscular, nice look, sharp brain, running, jumping, talking. No? Where did he come from? From a drop. So if you already have a skeleton, it's 50% made already. Which way is bigger miracle? When you have to create a human being from a drop, or you have to create a human being from a skeleton just to put the skin and the flesh and all that on it? Which one is a bigger miracle? The difference is that from a drop, everyone is already used to that miracle. That's why no one is impressed. You saw it millions of times. Same thing when you see rain. You're not impressed because you got used to it. But if you see a skeleton on the floor that will turn into a living human being and get up, everyone will run away and will get the shock of their life. But what happened if you already saw it happening 10,000 times? Each time you are impressed a little bit less. Until after 10,000 times, you don't even take your selfie, your video anymore. First one, everyone was, oh my God, oh my God. Second time, 90%, oh my God. Third time, fourth, fifth, after 10,000 times, everyone walks. Nobody cares. Oh, someone grave just opened up. It's cleaning the dust, the sand. Getting up, what a beautiful day. Right or wrong? It's all a matter of how much you're used to it. Baruch Hashem. Tonight is the yortzeit of Or HaChaim HaKadosh. זכותו יגן עלינו. If we had him in our generation, one thing for sure is the situation wouldn't be so bad. How many rabbis in the history got the title HaKadosh, the holy? There's probably tens of thousands of holy rabbis. How many of them officially got to their name the title HaKadosh? You have Rabbi, Rabbeinu HaKadosh. You have Ari HaKadosh. Huh? No, but I'm saying, how many rabbis have the title HaKadosh, the holy? He's one of them. Not that many. Then mamash, everyone agreed that this rabbi is holy, 100% holy. Or HaChaim HaKadosh passed 277 years ago. He was Moroccan Jew, Rabbi Chaim Ben Attar. His title is Or HaChaim HaKadosh, the light of life, the holy light of life, because his books are called Or HaChaim. He lived most of his life in Morocco. When he was 43 years old, he made Aliyah to Eretz Israel. He didn't need a Jewish agency back then. You know, and they didn't have a way to check if you're religious or not back then. So he got on a boat and arrived to Eretz Israel 277 years ago. 278 years ago. Because there was a year before he passed. He arrived to Eretz Israel with his 2 wives. Back then he was more in style to marry more than one woman. And a group of students that came with him. He went directly to Yerushalayim and opened a yeshiva, Midrash Knesset Israel. That was the name of it. And a year later, he passed. In Motzei Shabbos, on the summer of Taf Kuf Gimel, when he was 47, he is buried in Har HaZeitim, the Olive Mountain, behind the Western Wall over there. Many people go to pray in his grave, especially prayers in his grave helps very much to find your soulmate and to have children. Or HaChaim did not have children. Everyone who learns in his books, there is power in his books to give segula, to have zera shel kayama, and holy kids, not just kids, holy kids. You know, when Or HaChaim HaKadosh was on a boat one time, the boat crashed and drowned. He was the only one that survived was him. The only one. Everybody else died. He was the only one survived. He had a piece of wood from the boat. He was holding it for days. Slowly, slowly, he was getting closer to the shore. Without food, without water, he needed a lot of strength to hold to it so many days. And then he made it. When he arrived to the shore, it was already dark. He was afraid to sleep there. Maybe bad animals will come, attack him in the night. So he saw trees, he decided to climb on a tree. On a tree I will be safer. So he got on a tree, but you cannot sleep on a tree, you're afraid to fall. So you're a little bit, you're a little bit sleepy, but you can't really fall asleep. Then he saw from far away, he saw smoke. He thought, oh, maybe there's fire. Let me go see what's happening there. He came to follow the smoke. He saw next to the smoke, there is a cabin, like a house in a forest. He walked in, and I remember he didn't eat for 3 days. He was very hungry, very dizzy. He saw the door is open. Knock on the door, nobody answered. He pushed the door, he walks inside, he sees a table with lots of food on it. Food, drinks, kosher, not kosher. There's no way to know. But he had a pikuach nefesh. If you're about to die, you're allowed to eat anything. He ate. Then he was so tired, he couldn't keep his eyes open. He fell there on a bed and fell asleep. A few hours later, the owners of the house showed up. Who are they? Big gang of murderers with swords and knives. They walk. That's why they don't lock the door. No one would dare to enter their house. Everybody is shaking from them in a town. They see a Jew is laying on a bed. Gave him a few smacks. Hey, you! Woke him up. Yeah. What are you doing here? Who gave you permission to come in? See now, very scary people. He said, I'm so sorry, I came in without permission, I saw food, I ate from your food, but please forgive me, I was about to die. I was on a boat that crashed. They say, don't look for mercy by us. We kill people for living. And you step on our territory, tonight we're going to kill you. One of them, they're all wearing bandanas, all these things. One of them say to them, let me speak to him 1 minute on the side. Took him to another room. He took out his custom. He said to him, Rabbi, you remember me? Looked at him. Wow, you know me? I was your student in elementary yeshiva. He looked at him. Yes, I remember you, but look how you changed. He said, yes. I was a very bad kid. I made a lot of problems to my parents. Eventually I left the house, and that's where I ended. And I became a very bad criminal. I actually murdered a lot of people. I'm a lost case. But if you, the holy rabbi, will find a way for me to do tshuva, I trust your word 100%. If you tell me I can still do tshuva, I will do it, and I will also save your life. He told him, there is one way for you to do tshuva, but it will be very difficult. Whatever you say, Rabbi. He said to him, buy a snake, big snake. Put him in a box. Every day you give him food. You throw rats, this, whatever you throw, he's going to eat. Feed him for 7 years. Take care of that snake for 7 years. After 7 years exactly, open the cover of the box. Let the snake come out, attack you, kill you, and that will be your tshuva, your tikkun. He said to him, why this way? He said, measure for measure. Tshuva is that you get punished the same way you committed the sin. Midah keneged midah. You did this to your parents, the snake will do the same thing to you. Your parents fed you for 7 years, raised you, sent you to yeshiva, took care of your laundry, did everything for you. And you spit in their face, the snake will spit in your face, this cobra will spit in your face and will attack you and will kill you like you kill your father and your mother with your behaving. And that's going to be midah keneged midah. He say to him, wow, Rabbi, that's very scary. But if that's what you say, that's what I'm going to do. He spared his life, convinced them not to kill him. And that's what he did. And after 7 years exactly after the snake killed him, he came to him in a dream, to the Or HaChaim. 7 years exactly. Or HaChaim forgot about him already. He went to his way, and that guy went to his way. He did it, he didn't do it. The rabbi had no way to know. 7 years exactly from the date of that incident, he came to him in a dream and said, Rabbi, Yashar Koach, Tanua, that you enachta et menuchati, that you, thanks to you, you gave me rest. Yashar Kochacha, he said to him. So this was the Or HaChaim HaKadosh. One time, Rav Ovadia Yosef, there was a family that could not marry their daughter. Another year. The father came to Rav Ovadia Yosef, so what should we do? He said to him, go to the grave of Or HaChaim HaKadosh, pray over there, and then take a stone from there and give it to your daughter. And once your daughter will get her shidduch and she will get married, don't forget to return the stone into the grave. And that's exactly what happened. She went to the grave. I already know you, before you even move, I already knew you're going to react like this. Don't worry, you get married even without the stone. And it worked. It actually worked. I don't know exactly what's behind Rav Ovadia about the stone. I don't know the secret behind it. Obviously, if a Chacham does something, there is a reason behind it. Not always we know what it is. Not always we know. But that's the beauty of the Jewish nation. We have to eliminate our understanding. When you have someone greater than you don't ask questions. And that's exactly the 13th principle of Judaism. The Mashiach would come, listen, I'm a doctor. If you would ask me without reading in the Torah, without Hashem, I would tell you enough with your nonsense. But since it's written in Hashem's book, for sure he will come. Well, the dead will resurrect. For sure they will. If you ask me as a doctor that learned by the Goyim, who believes such nonsense? That the dead can come out of the grave. But if it's written by the prophets, for sure it will happen. That's the whole concept of being a kosher Jew. To learn to eliminate your wisdom, what you think it's wisdom. Eliminate your wisdom to the wisdom of the Creator of the world. Make sure, 100%, make sure that you never ever contradict what's written in any of the holy books. And that's, Baruch Hashem, something that a lot of Jews, unfortunately, with the yarmulke on their head, somehow forgot, especially in today's generation, when all they're exposed to the internet and all kinds of things, and Hashem Yirachem, they find a lot of heresy over there. Baruch Hashem, this coming Parashat Balak. Why would they call the Parashat Balak? Imagine if they call the Megillat Haman. They rather call Megillat Mordechai and Esther, Megillat Esther. Why, by the way, they call Megillat Esther and not Mordechai and Esther? Huh? What, they were feminists back then, the Persians? 2,400 years, the Persians were feminists. To the best of my knowledge, not so much. Right? If any, today when they move to America, they are more feminist than back then. 2,400 years ago, Persian women didn't drive Mercedes in Iran, right? And they did not go to become doctors or to own businesses. So I think they're doing better today. They think it's better. If Hashem thinks it's better, that's another story. But back then, why would they call it Megillat Esther? At least say Mordechai and Esther. If you don't want to say Mordechai, he was the head of one of the Sanhedrin. He was one of the chief rabbis of the generation. So if you don't want to say Megillat Mordechai, say Megillat Mordechai and Esther. But why only Esther? Because they wanted to highlight the fact that the whole concept of Purim was Esther Panim. Esther. What does it mean Esther? Meaning Nistar. What's Nistar? Hidden. What's the name of the world in Lashon HaKodesh? How do you call the world? Olam. Olam comes from the word Ne'ilam. Mystery. The name of the world already tells you how the world is going to be. All huge mystery. Nobody knows anything. If we wouldn't have the Torah, for sure we wouldn't know anything. Now when we have the Torah, we know maybe 1% of what's happening in the world. We know about body and soul. We know there is a trial when we die. We know there is life after death. We know there is heaven. We know there is hell. We know there is kafakela. We know in hell there are 7 different departments. Without the Torah, we wouldn't know all these things. We would not have any idea. We know about reincarnations, that souls can come back to the world in few different bodies. We know how the creator of the world thinks, what he likes, what he hates. We know that any behaving that is against the law of nature by people, they make themselves worse than animals. And that's why the Torah calls it abomination. Abomination. This week, one guy sent me a question. A righteous Gentile. He's no longer Christian. He realized it's all idol worshipping. He became Goy Tzaddik. Shomer Sheva Mitzvot Bnei Noach. He keeps the 7 laws of Noah. And he believes in one God. He loves him. He loves the Jewish people. He does not steal, does not kill. No forbidden relationship with his 7 relatives. No homosexuality. He doesn't eat animals unless they dead first. He obeys the police and the court. You know, he's a tzaddik goy. When he dies, he goes to heaven. There are a few million goyim like this. When they die, they go to heaven. Why? They kept the 7 laws. In reality, it's not only 7 laws. I once calculated, it's about 40-something laws that they have to keep. In general, every law that is required by human logic, they have to keep. Even when you walk in the street and throw dirt on the floor, and somebody else has to come and pick it up, that's against human logic. You know it's wrong. You don't need Torah to know what you're doing is wrong. Right? If you smoke and you throw your cigarettes in someone's backyard, just because you visited there in a party and you throw it on the grass, then you know what you do is wrong. You don't need to be religious to know that what you're doing now is wrong. Religion, not for everything you need to read in a book of Torah what's allowed, what's not allowed. If you beat up a person on the street, you know it's not right. So there are certain things that you have to know right away that it's against human logic. And every one of those things the goyim are required to keep. The question that the goy asked me, as a righteous Gentile, am I allowed to look at pictures of non-modest women? A Jew, the Torah says, לא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריהם. It's a sin from the Torah to look at not modest women. You have to watch your eyes. You can focus, you can imagine things. It's against the Torah. Every second is a sin. Same thing looking at pictures. It ignites the Yetzer Hara and creates other sins later on. So there's no question about it. For Jew, it's forbidden. The question is, what about a goy? Because a goy, first question we have to ask, do Hashem expect the goyim to have the same level of holiness like Jews? The answer is no. Jews, they must get married. They cannot touch each other unless they first dedicated each other, and they become a family. The goyim, they don't need to get married. Chris met Christine in a party. They like each other. He bought her a drink. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו. It wasn't water, that's for sure. And after that, they decided to move in together, 2 hours after they met. And Baruch Hashem, 9 months later, they had a kid. And they still live together without marriage. Did they commit any sin? The goyim, nothing. If a Jew would do such a thing, very serious problem he would have. First, he wasn't allowed to go to the bar to begin with. They made a joke in Israel. I'll tell it to you in Hebrew and then I'll translate. אבותינו הכירו את נשותיהם ליד הבאר, ואנו מכירים את נשותינו ליד הבר. Our fathers, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, they met their wife, their soulmate, next to the well. Well means be'er, bet, aleph, resh. We meet our wives in the bar. It's also bet, aleph, resh. But there is a little difference between the well, where they used to come give water to the sheep, and in a bar in Manhattan. Hashem Yirachem. That's why their marriage look as the Torah described, and our marriages look, Hashem Yirachem, how in today's generation. So, he asked, so they don't have to get married. They can be together, and they don't have to get divorced also. Once they decide to separate, it was nice to meet you, Chris. It was nice to meet you, Christine. What are we going to do with little Johnny? We'll split custody. He will be with you, he'll be by me, you pay me child support. They reach an agreement according to the law of America or Europe, whenever they live, and they have nothing wrong. They've done nothing wrong. 2 hours after they've separated, they can move in with someone else. None of that is a sin. Now, he's asking a very good question. The answer is, I asked a big chacham that question. It took a day until I reached him. He said, there is no obvious law that tells the goyim that they are not allowed to do it. But there is a general law that even the goyim have to stay from everything that is ugly in the eyes of Hashem. Same thing about wasting seed for the goy. There is nowhere that it says that the goy is not allowed to do it. They don't have halachot, Shulchan Aruch, that tells them if you do it, you're going to be in hell. But it's an ugly thing to do. If you see that Hashem is so angry at the Jews for doing it, why would you want to do it? But then again, you can ask a lot of different things. For instance, I once heard this pastor from Texas. What's his name? The billionaire. Austin, yes, Austin. I wasn't sure if he's a movie star or a priest. Took me a few minutes to realize. Somebody sent me a clip that he talks about not eating shrimps. What is the goyim has to do with not eating shrimps? They're allowed to eat it. So he said to his church, over there were 10,000 people, almost like tonight here. Baruch Hashem. So, over there, he says to them, brothers and sisters, you know how dramatic they are, with the microphone here. Brothers and sisters, let's think together. If God told the Jews that they're not allowed to eat shrimps, how can we not understand that it's also bad for us? And I'll tell you why it's bad. That's when he got his university now into the picture. The shrimps, they crawl in the bottom of the ocean. And all the dirt falls all the way down to the bottom. And they eat the dirt. And because of that, they are filthy. And that's why it's not healthy. The other part is all baloney. I don't think the shrimps live in the bottom of the ocean. We have to check that. And I don't think all the dirt falls exactly where they are. And I don't think they eat the dirt. And I don't think that that's the reason why Hashem told the Jews they cannot eat shrimps. That's not the reasons. The reasons is because Hashem said so. Some fish are kosher, they have fins and scales. Everything else is not kosher. Some birds are kosher, very few. The rest of the world are not kosher. Most animals are not kosher. Which animals we allowed to eat? Animals that are not murderers. Look at the list of all the kosher animals. None of them murder other animals for a living. Hashem does not want Jews to eat murderers. Let the Goyim eat them. The Goyim wants to eat tigers, leopards, dog in China. Everyone who kills others, let them do it. It's their problem, not ours. However, we are only allowed to eat vegetarian animals. Cow eat grass. Sheep eat grass. Deer eat leaves. Giraffe, leaves. All the animals you're allowed to eat, the animals who eat grass and leaves. Vegetarian. It's a big mystery. How a little calf, within a month, become 10 times bigger and fat from eating grass only. If we will eat grass all month from morning to night, we won't gain 5 pounds. Right? What fat there is in it? There's no sugar in it, and there's no fat. If you eat lettuce all month, would you gain weight? No, you're probably going to lose weight. That's the best diet. You lose 20 pounds. So you see that what you eat is nothing to do with, oh, this one healthy, this one is not. It's shtuyot. If Hashem lives to make you gain weight, you will gain 100 pounds in a month. Because Hashem wants the cow to be fat, that we can eat and enjoy the meat on Shabbat. That's it. So he decided that they will eat grass and they will get fat. If we will eat that, we would lose weight. It's not our purpose to eat leaves, especially when they're full of worms. In the Persian kitchen, there is a lot of green. Gorme sabzi, all this rehun, all these things. If you want to eat it, be my guest, enjoy. If Hashem gave it, we have permission to enjoy it. But Hashem did not say that you have to put on top of it 500 worms when you eat it. You have to clean it very good. Because that 1 minute pleasure that you have when you eat the Friday night rehun or sabzi can have inside 50, 60 worms. Each one of them is 5 sins from the Torah. It's like 300 steaks of pork in one Persian meal that was not cleaned correctly. 300 steaks of pork in one Friday night meal. Why? Ignorance. When you don't learn, you don't know. Cherries full of worms. Open cherry, soft one inside, you'll get the shock of your life. There's a video I got a week ago. Every cherry the guy opened had a living worm in it. Every one. Took a bunch, one by one, in front of the video. Worm, living. Another one. Strawberry, full of worms. Small one in holes. No way to see it. You need a magnifying glass. That's why religious people, they peel with a knife around the whole strawberry. A lot of these greens, broccoli, you have to cut all the flowers from the top. There's no way to clean it. Lettuce, there's a lot of these little tiny flies. Tiny, smaller than mosquitoes, very small. They go in between the leaves, they die there, and they stick to the leaf. Sometimes even when you rinse it, it doesn't come off. You have to rinse it with strong flowing of water. You have to, if you have a brush, after you put it in a soap. You want to eat greens? It's not easy. You're going to have to work. Or you buy it you pay 5 times more, and it's ready. Comes packed and clean, gush katif, all these things. Tov. Either way, but you have to be careful. Because when you eat non-kosher food, it contaminates the soul. And the soul become impure because of eating these worms, or non-kosher meat, or meat with cheese together, all these things that some people do. And then once your soul is contaminated, it's very difficult for you to be righteous. You don't have a willpower. Every little mitzvah become like a mountain on your shoulder. To wake up for shachrit, to do this, to do that, all this, to eat matzah, to put tefillin. Did you put tefillin? Not yet, Rabbi. It's 5 p.m. already. I will. Wow, you have 2 hours left. 6:30. No, you did? Not yet, Rabbi. Wow, it's so hard. What's hard? Shema Yisrael, 3 minutes. From the morning. Should I? Should I not? Should I? Should I not? Where did this come from? It's a lot of worms. Makes everything difficult. So the Gemara say a person must be very careful what goes into his mouth. Very, very careful. Even sometimes you eat bread, if they don't sift the flour has a lot of little bugs and cockroaches, small one, tiny ants. Each one of them is few sins from the Torah. It can be inside the bread, they bake it, and you have all these things, and you eat it. Swallow them inside when you eat. Why you don't clean the flour? There's a lot of problems, Rabotai. Most people do not know. You open a date, sometimes inside you see dead worms. You have to be aware of these things. There's reasons why the Torah warns us from these things. So, why did they call the parasha Parashat Balak? Esther, I just told you, Esther astir panai mehem. The Gemara asks, where is Esther in the Torah? Very strange question. What came first, the Torah or the Megillat Esther? Torah is 3,300 years ago, 3333. Megillat Esther is 900 years later. How Esther will be in the Torah if she was just born 900 years after the Torah? How she will be in the Torah? The Gemara say, where do you find Esther in the Torah? Esther astir panai mehem. Parashat Vayelech. I will block my eyes from looking at the Jews. Meaning, that's by the way this page in the Torah describes the Holocaust. I will put them in the hand of the cruel Goyim, and the Goyim will kill them and destroy them, and I will not be there to look at them or defend them. It's written all in Parashat Vayelech. By the way, in that page, the word Holocaust, HaShoah in Hebrew, Hey, Shin, Vav, Aleph, Hey, HaShoah, how many letters? Hey, Shin, Vav, Aleph, Hey. 5 letters. Appear in that page with equal mathematical skips of 49 letters. You have the A, you circle the A, you count 49 letters after the A, you're going to get Shin. You circle the Shin, you count 49 letters, you're going to get Vav. You circle the Vav, you count 49 letters, you're going to get Aleph. You circle the Aleph, you count 49 letters, you get Hey. HaShoah, the Holocaust. Which tragedy the page describe inside the text? Hashem put the Holocaust, to leave no doubt. Inside. It's very interesting. So over there, it says, Esther astir panai mehem. Big deal. Hashem is talking about hiding himself from us when the Goyim will put us in the hand of this cruel Goyim. What does it have to do with Esther HaMalka, Queen Esther? There was 2,300 years before. What does it have to do with the Holocaust? Then the Gemara says, where is Mordechai in the Torah? The Gemara says, Mordachia. Mordror. The Torah talks about the spices. Mordror in Aramaic, Mordachia, Mordechai. That's it. What's the connection between the spices and Mordechai? No connection. So what is the Gemara talking about? Now you're going to wait and hear something you probably never heard before. How many letters you have in Megillat Esther? 12,196 letters. The whole Megillah, 12,196 letters. Today you can buy a nice Megillah for about $2,000, $1,800, depending on the sofer. If it's not such a good sofer, maybe even less than $1,500. It's a good sofer. If it's Ashkenazi, it can even be $3,000. Ashkenazim, people pay.
Sephardi 5,000.
Sephardi 5,000? Where did you find that? So, 12,196 letters. Do you know how long it takes to write such thing? You have to dip the feather inside the ink. Aleph. Then again. Vav. Resh. Think about it. 12,000. So the whole job. It's a lot of work. If an American graduate of Yale or Harvard would have to write such thing, which would cost him a few months, he would add $30,000 for it. Right? If you call a lawyer and he say, I have a question, immigration lawyer. Yes, it's $300 for consulting. What? On the phone? Yeah. You have 3 questions, $300. So he asked, what, over the phone? He said, yes, you have 2 questions left. He said, why so expensive? That's my rate. I went to a great law school. You have 1 question left. This is America. What can you do? But, you know, in Israel, they just want to make a living. So they work and they make beautiful Megillah. How many letters you have in the Megillah? 12,196. Now, the Torah says, where is Esther? Esther, astir panai mehem. Esther, it's Esther, same letters. Aleph, Samech, Taf, Resh. From this Aleph, you count 12,196 letters in the Torah. What do you get? Samech. 12,196 letters, Taf. 12,196 letters, Resh. 900 years before Esther, the Chachamim say, where the Torah spoke about Esther? There will be Esther in 900 years. When Hashem gave us the Torah, there is information about the future. The Chachamim already knew there are secrets in the Torah, in the letters, in the text. So they say, where is Esther in the Torah? Aster, Astir. From here, 12,100. Why 12,196? That's the amount of letters in the Megillah. 12,000. Now you go to Mordechai. Where is Mordechai in the Torah? Mordachia. What's the connection? From the mem of Mordror, you count 12,196, you get Resh. 12,196, Dalet. 12,196, Chaf. 12,196, Yud. No. What are the odds that something like this will happen randomly? The answer, there are no odds. Not even 1 to 1 trillion. Now you see the Torah is from Hashem. Right next to it, it says, if you're not Shomer Shabbat, you cut yourself in the afterlife from life of eternity. Do you want to take that risk? You want to go against the creator of the world? Where is your head? For what? To drive to Macy's? To drive to play golf? With your stupid cigar? One time I said in my lecture, all these people that play golf, 99% of them is for the show-off, for the status. I play golf. With who? With this, with that. It's all show. That's how people are. One guy called me up. I have to confess, you are 100% right. I hate it. Standing in the sun, driving the stupid car, all this, just to put the show like I'm one of them. I said, what, are you telling me something I don't know, you think? Don't I know this show-off? It's all show-off. So, what reasons a person will have to be Mechalel Shabbat? Or to be a thief? What are you stealing for? In the end, you must have in your hand net what Hashem wrote to you in Rosh Hashanah. The more you steal, the more it's going to take from different places. Ugly divorce, drug addict kid, all kinds of problems. IRS, competition, lawsuits, Gucci will sue you, you imitated the product. An employee will take you to court for not paying him such and such. A customer will fall in your place and sue you for $2 million. Well, Hashem has many ways to get his money. And if you kept the money you stole, that means it was written to you in a kosher way, but you decided to steal. So Hashem left you what you stole instead of giving you kosher money. But the difference is now you have to pay for whatever you stole. If you wouldn't steal, you will get it legally. And there are many examples like this. The question is now, how many chapters we have in the Torah? The Torah have 304,805 letters. Almost 305,000 letters. Divided to how many chapters? Every week we read parasha. This week, Parashat Balak. Last week, Parashat Chukat. How many chapters we have in the Torah? The answer is 54. The problem is, how can we have 54 chapters if we only have 52 weeks? It doesn't add up. So sometimes we read 2 parshiot, but it's more than 2 times a year. We have more times in a year that we read 2 parshiot. So how come? The answer is sometimes Yom Tov fall on Shabbat, Pesach, Sukkot. On Yom Tov or Shabbat, Chol HaMoed, we don't read the parasha. We read something that relates to the holiday. So together, 54 chapters will be read every year, and that's the entire cycle from Simchat Torah to Simchat Torah. How many of the parshiot are named after people? Let's count. We have Noach, that's the first one, right? Then we have Yitro, that's in Sefer Shmot already. Then we have Korach, then we have Balak, and then we have Pinchas. 5 chapters in the Torah are named Chaye Sarah, it's already 2 words. We're talking 1 word only. If they call it Sarah, fine. But we're talking 1 word. 1 word of a human being. Yitro, Noach, Korach, Balak, Pinchas. נוח איש צדיק תמים היה בדורותיו, יתרו חותן משה, thanks to him there's extra chapter in the Torah, he became a convert. On Korach, the people of Korach, before they did what they did, they were righteous. Korach was a tzaddik. Until what happened? You can become Rasha in 1 minute. You can be tzaddik 80 years, in 1 minute your status turned into Rasha. How come? How do I know Korach was tzaddik? How do I know? There are few indications. 1, he was carrying the Aron. If you're not righteous, you cannot carry the Aron, you die. To carry the Aron and stay alive, it's like actually going to Kodesh HaKodashim and stay alive, the Kohanim. Many Kohanim went to Kodesh HaKodashim, they died. They were not worthy enough. So if you carry the Aron actually carry you. You don't feel any weight, no gravity. The Aron is like, like in the moon, you fly in space, you don't have any weight. If you are in the moon, you can pick up a car with your finger, like this. You tap it, and it flies up. Did you ever see a video of the astronauts in a spaceship? How they eat? I'm sitting here, another astronaut sits over there. Let's say I have a piece of matzah. I leave it, it flows in the air. I patch it like this, it flies in the air all the way to his mouth, like this. If you want to go from here to there, it's like in the water. You swim in the air. You're not falling. You push on the side of the spaceship and you fly all the way to the other side, just like in a pool, but a lot easier. There's only one problem. What happens when you go to the bathroom? Supposed to go down, but there's no gravity. So it begins to fly in a room. So you need a helmet. Imagine what's going to happen now. Don't worry. They thought about everything. So over there, the bathroom has very serious suction, a pump. Before you go to the bathroom, you turn the button on, and it sucks everything down. Otherwise, you don't want to look at the walls of your beautiful Italian marble bathroom made in Italy. So, that's one of the problems they had when the Russians sent the astronauts to space for the first time. They didn't know what to do with the pens. The ink does not go down. There's no gravity. So now you cannot write with a pen. So they broke their head. So all the smart Russians came sitting for 2 weeks thinking, should we make a pen with a pump? We have to press a button, the pump will pull the ink down, but maybe it's not going to work. Where are we going to put the battery? They break their heads. 2 weeks. 2 weeks they cannot find a solution. Until Vladimir, the guy, the janitor that sweep the building, he say, Хорошо, what's the problem? Why don't you use pencil instead? Don't look at him. How did we not think about it? 2 weeks. Vladimir, хорошо. You know the guy that cleans the bathroom? He told them, the genius from Moscow. And they went with pencil. They have a lot of degrees in the university, big shots. In the end, Vladimir told them what to do. Baruch Hashem. So, one other way to know that Korach was a tzaddik, he had Ruach HaKodesh. He has like a little prophecy. He knew that Shmuel, the prophet, supposed to come out from him, from his family. If you're Rasha, you don't have Ruach HaKodesh, unless you Balaam. The question is, why they call this parasha Balak and not Balaam?
Under the blessing of the Jewish nation. Balak sacrificed also 42 korban.
Mashiach.
The generation after he got Ruth.
Very good. Maybe I should send you instead of me next time. The answer is, Rabotai, everybody else was tzaddik, at least at one point on his life. But the Chachamim ask, but what about Balak? And if you already decide to call Balak after a wicked person, why not after Balaam, which was the prophet of the Goyim? If you already don't care to call about after a Rasha, you might as well use Balaam. The answer is, the Gemara in Masechet Sotah, page 47, the Gemara say 42 sacrifices Balak sacrificed for Hashem. And thanks to that, Ruth came out of him. And who came out of Ruth? David HaMelech. And who came after from David HaMelech? Mashiach. So, Baruch Hashem, we have the zchut of this goy that he sacrifices 42 sacrifices to Hashem. But I wonder to myself, something doesn't add up here. First of all, who gave him the advice to sacrifice these 42? Balaam. He should get the credit. Right? Why Chachamim did not want to give him the credit and name the parasha after him? Because they knew by him is only bad. Yesh lo ayin tzara. Nothing good can come out of him. He came to curse, he's greedy, he lives with his donkey as his wife. We don't want the parasha to be named after him. But Balak is an anti-Semite. He wants to kill the Jews. Why is he better? The answer is, Rabotai, who is worse? Balak that hired Balaam to kill the Jews, or Balaam? Who is worse? Who is worse? Someone who hire a hitman to kill somebody, or the hitman that kills somebody? Who will get a bigger punishment in a court? If they arrested the hitman and he turned on the one who hired him. The hitman will get 30 years in prison. How much the one who hired him will get? A little less. After all, he didn't press the button. He did not actually shoot. He'll get less, for sure. The judge cannot give the same punishment to the one who paid money to a murderer to go murder someone, the same punishment like the actual murderer. The murderer is the one who killed the person. He had the right not to do it. So over here, if Balak hired Balaam, who's worse? Balaam. But that's not the reason. Now you tell me why Balaam is worse. If Balak hired Balaam, Balaam should have been worse, right? Because Balaam is the one who actually killed the Jews. But that's not the reason. What's the reason? The real reason is because of the advice he gave him later on. He said, listen, I cannot curse them. God does not let me. He came and warned me. I cannot go against God. If you give me all the house full of wealth, I cannot curse the Jews. But let me give you an advice. Put your pretty goyot on the street, and that will be the end of them. Their God hate lack of modesty. When the man was going to start going out with the goyot, that will be the end of them. And how many Jews died because of his advice? 24,000. So the answer is, because Balak wanted to kill them physically, and Balaam wanted to kill them spiritually, Balaam is much worse than Balak. Why? Gadol ha'machti'o yoter min ha'orgo. This is how it goes by Hashem. Forget what everybody else told you otherwise. By Hashem, if you take a gun and blow someone's head, you're a filthy murderer. You deserve a death penalty. That's what the Torah says. Execution. If there was Sanhedrin with 2 witnesses, you die. They don't put you in jail to eat peanut butter and jelly and watch games. That's only in a stupid Israel and stupid America. And you're going to get a degree. You understand? And then become the head of the Hamas when you go out. And live in Qatar. And drive a Bentley. No. In the Torah, you must die. You killed someone, you must die. However, if you take one kid out of the yeshiva, you didn't murder him, you didn't shoot him, you just told him, come on, how long are you going to be in yeshiva? You're already 24. Go do something with your life. Go get a job. Go, I don't know, to college. Go get a degree. It's a decree, actually. Go get a degree. After you get a degree, I'll find you a good job in business with my friends in Manhattan. And he took your advice, and he left the yeshiva, and he went to college, and he was sitting between Jennifer and Christina, and all day talks to the goyot over there, and all the Christians around, and the Muslims, and the Hindus, and the Chinese. Bruce Lee ate a rat next to him. Jennifer came with her girlfriend. John came with Chris, his boyfriend, his husband. All the garbage around him in one class, 3-4 years. And then he became Bernie Sanders.
What's wrong with that? 4 years you go to get a bachelor degree, the Torah degree, Talmud degree, then you go becomes an attorney. What's wrong with that? In Torah, no education.
First of all,
4 years you go to Muncie, you get a Talmud Torah degree.
You started good, but you ruin everything. I tell you why. If you go to yeshiva, in yeshiva you don't get a degree. You learn 700 years, you're still called a talmid, a student. Rav Ovadia Yosef, you know him, he learned 90 years straight Torah, from age 3 to age 93, non-stop. A minute before he passed, what did the doctor say? Talmid Chacham. Talmid. Smart student. When you become a teacher, never. You're always going to be a student. Student, you always remain a student. Now, attorney. 99% of the attorneys.
I don't care about the attorney.
You say attorney.
No. Attorney or doctor something. Somehow you have to support yourself.
All right. Fine. Well, answer.
5 years.
Everything came out of your mouth, I'm going to analyze.
10 years ago.
We'll start with the attorney, we move to doctor, then we move to support yourself. I have a list. No, you know, in Israel they say, Patachta iti cheshbon.
I know somebody in my family, he says, I go to he's a monthly, 5 years, 10 years, I said, I'm going to get married at 25 years, I'm going to support you, my father-in-law support me, I'm going to be, okay.
All right, I heard that also.
He's supposed to, father-in-law.
Do you want also to get answer or only questions? All right.
I was waiting for that.
Attorney.
Yes.
99% of the kinds of attorneys are against the Torah.
100%.
Torah does not allow to defend rapists and thieves and murderers and put them back on the street. That's one thing. The Torah does not allow to go to secular court that the laws are not the laws of God. Laws that were made by all kinds of gays and atheists and all kinds of morons, that they wrote the laws, that's something that makes God very, very angry. No, now you only listen. Wait, I'll get to the doctor. I'll get to the support.
Go to grocery work. Go somewhere work.
Oh, now you contradict yourself. Grocery store, you don't need college for it. No problem. You can sell stocks, buy stocks, you can sell insurance, you can be a salesman, you can open a retail store. There's many ways to make a living and support yourself without sitting 4 years with the wicked people. You can be in real estate. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you. Attorney. The only kosher attorney is business attorney, meaning signing contracts between people, witnesses, notary, a real estate attorney, opening corporation, is a clerk. There's nothing here is against the Torah. Okay. Any other attorney is against the Torah. Criminal lawyers is a big criminal. Family attorney. It's also a big problem because the judge will take the children from the father that is a tzaddik in yeshiva and give it to the mother who ran away with the Arab criminal. Why? Because that's the law of the United States. The judge doesn't care that the kids will be Shomer Shabbat. He's going to take the kids from the Hasid and give it to the wife who ran away with the Puerto Rican, and the kids will be in Puerto Rico and become Goyim and marry Goyim. So, wait, don't ask more questions. You cannot throw artillery on me. Give me a chance to answer. So lawyers, very rarely it's a kosher job for Jews. Very rarely. Okay, next. Doctors. Doctors is mitzvah to save life. You would say, very good, I make a lot of money and at the same time I do mitzvot. I relieve people from pain, I extend their life, I save life, I make them more happy, I'm busy with a lot of good things. That could have been truth if the world will be a good world. The problem is that the world is very corrupted, and 99.9% of the people in the world, there is no mitzvah to help them. Let me begin the list. You have 6 billion idol worshippers who makes God angry every second of their life. Indian, Chinese, Japanese, Tibet, Nepal, Thailand, so many. India alone is 500 million. China is 2 billion. So many, 2 billion Christians, which are idol worshippers. Between Chinese, Hindus, Buddhists, and Christian, at least 6.5 billion people are idol worshippers that according to the Torah do not have the right to live. Idol worshipper goy, it's death penalty. Not only Jews. Even a goy who bow down to an idol, who believe in JC, deserve death penalty. Now, you a doctor, a Jewish doctor. A guy like this come to you, is about to die. You go and save his life. Now he's going to live another 30 years and make God angry every second. Do you think you have a mitzvah here? You don't have a mitzvah, you have avera, you have a sin. The more he does, the more you're part of it. Now you have Hamas terrorist. In Israel, you're a doctor, or in America. He comes in, Palestinian murderer. He wants to slaughter all of us. You have to save his life and a surgery. You save his life, he killed 20 Jews after that. The blood of those 20 Jews are in your hands. You have to save the life of 2 gays now. 2 gays, 2 husbands, went into an accident, and they're about to die, and they come to you, and you, the religious Jew, have to save the life of them, that they will make God angry another 40 years with their abomination. You understand? So being a doctor is the most stupid thing you can think of. Many Jews become doctors because it's big money, but not anymore. Those days that they made millions are not anymore around, thanks to Hussein Obama. He killed the industry, and the health insurance killed the industry. It's not worth to be a doctor, because there's not big money in it anymore like it used to be, and 99% of your patients are wicked people, which you have to defend them and help them, and that's not a good job. Okay, so now what's next? You can be an architect, kosher, no problem. Nothing is wrong here. You can be, I don't know, speech therapist, helping little kids, no problem. There are jobs that are kosher in university. However, being in a university destroyed your soul. Guarantee. There's not 1 out of 1,000 that can go to university tzaddik and remain the same tzaddik 4 years later. I'm talking from 25 years of experience. Everyone I know that was in yeshiva and then went to university became either a fully kofar or partially kofar. Kofar means infidel. Now he talks about what the professor thinks, and the world is millions of years old, and it's not true. Even according to the Torah, it's millions of years old. And I have a list of 16 famous speakers on YouTube that each one of them is the biggest rasha on earth. Biggest kofrim. They spread heresy everywhere they go. Every one of their lectures is mamash a war against God. And they're very famous. And they have a lot of people follow them. Why? All of them got it from the university. In Israel, all the biggest chachamim, now one of them would step a second in university. You come to all the chachamim, the Ashkenazim, the Sfaradim, and the Hasidim, and you tell him, I'll pay you $1 million to go to university. I'll pay you every year $1 million to sit in university to get a job. They would never want to talk to you ever again. Not Ashkenazim, not Sfaradim, and not Hasidim. Everyone who is a real tzaddik will not step in university. I went to speak few times in university, and people criticize me. How did I agree to enter to give a speech to the Reshaim to make them Shomrei Shabbat? How do you step in such a place? You understand? Why? Because that's Sodom and Gomorrah. I once went to Canada to speak in York University. Do you know what I've seen over there? 80% Muslim terrorists over there, anti-Semite. They look at you with the yarmulke in their face. You see how they want to kill you. They give you these looks, they scream, dirty Jew. I asked some of the Jewish students, how do you learn? They said, we have no choice. They took over, the president of the university is one of them. We are terrified here. This is an example of what's happening today in universities. Here in America, the same thing. Now, why Jews run to university? There's only one reason. They don't have any emunah in Hashem. Tell me, 40 years in the desert, all the Jews were wealthy, they ate well, they have everything they need. Did they get it because they went to university? All the Persians who came from Iran did not know 2 words in English. Arrived here, some of them went to Los Angeles, some of them went to Great Neck. They had 0 education. Definitely they didn't go to American college. They were selling rugs and jewelry and material and real estate. Thousands of them became billionaires, not millionaires. They have over $1 billion buildings and businesses and hotels. Some of them still until today cannot speak English. Barely. Syrians in Brooklyn. All the old generation who came here from Syria. 2 words in English. I once, when I was in business, I went to a store of a Syrian man, had 18 sneaker stores, sneakers and leather jacket. 18. Each one of them is doubled in this big shul. Millions of dollars merchandise. 18 stores, and he did not know how to sign his name in English. He took an ink, he puts his finger there, and he put it like this on a contract. I say to him, I'm sorry, you have to sign because I have to give you a copy, 1 copy for me, 1 copy to the bank, 1 copy to the agency. I have 4 copies. You have to sign. He got angry at me. I do not know how to sign in English. That's my signature. He owns 18 stores and he doesn't know 1 word in English. Why? Money, parnasa, does not come from wisdom. You can be a genius and poor. You can be the dumbest in the world and a multi-millionaire.
If we sit down Torah 24 hours a week, Torah, money comes on the air.
Yeah.
100%. All the people that learned Torah in the last 3,300 years, we never heard about one of them that died from starvation. How is it possible? They don't go to work. They learn Torah all their life. And you know what? In Israel, they have a list of the rabbis. How much money they have in their bank account in cash. The lefties, they want to make the religion look bad. So they went to the bank. I don't know how they got this information. They want to show you each rabbi how much money we caught in his bank account. You ready? I'm not going to tell you the names. They are wicked. They publish the names. One of them had 1.4 billion shekel cash in his bank account, and he's not 30 years old yet. One of them had $75 million. One of them $100 million. Give speeches, learn Torah. How the money come? There are millions of ways for Hashem to give you money. Do you know now, someone told me, I'm staying in a hotel upstate. The hotel was empty. All of a sudden, you have to see what kind of people came here. All kinds of minorities, poor people. The hotel is full of them. They smoke grass all day. I cannot be here. I have to move out. I said, how all of a sudden the hotel became full? Courtesy of Joe Biden. The government send money. They take the money and come to hotel. Anyway, they don't work. They enjoy. All of a sudden, they have tons of money. Some of them have more money than they ever made, thanks to Corona. Why? Don't ask Hashem how to give money and to who. He is the master of the money. You have to pray, you have to be honest, you have to make an effort, and that's it. Just make an effort.
What is your suggestion? Close all the university and school and everything
Online,
and just
they
open
can
the
study online.
No, my suggestion is to make kosher.
What I get from you.
No, my suggestion is to make kosher universities. Religious kosher universities. Teach math, it's kosher. You can teach English, it's kosher. You can teach business, it's kosher. Do not teach evolution. Do not brainwash the people to be gays. Enough pushing democratic agenda. Enough with all these Sodom and Gomorrah things. University became propaganda for the Satan. Every university. Can you name one kosher university today? That you're going to send your kids there and they're not going to get massive brainwash to be gay or to support gays? Everything in university is gay, 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 flags, everyday demonstration. You have to see from Israel, people send me from the university pictures, what they do every day over there. If the whole university became like San Francisco.
Medina Israel can still exist with all this university be closed?
I said, make the university kosher.
But Medina, not school.
The Medina already now is on the way to be destroyed without the university issue.
I'm sorry, but I don't believe that.
Well,
As long as we have Hashem, the Medina Israel is ours.
no, wait, you're mixing two things. There is Eretz Israel and there is Medinat Israel. Do you know what's the difference between them? I'll explain. Eretz Israel is the Holy Land, the land that Hashem loved the most in the world. The Jewish nation is the nation that Hashem loved the most in the world. We are His children. Medinat Israel is a whole different story. Medinat Israel is an organization of wicked communist Zionists who hates Hashem, hates Torah, hates Judaism. They wanted all of the people in Israel to be secular, to be Mechalelei Shabbat, to learn about Russian culture, to make kibbutzim, to make moshavim, and to destroy the Torah, to make marriage between gays, to make marriage between Jews and Goyim. All Jews should be with no yarmulke, no tzitzit, with bloriot, Goyish music. Their heroes are Herzl. Read his book. He was lighting Christmas tree in his house and sent his kids to the church to learn Christianity. He called his son Hans. He refused to make Brit Milah to his son. He wrote a letter to the Pope, give me some time, I will convert all the Jews to the Christian religion and we will kill the anti-Semitism. Give me time. My plan is to turn all the Jews to be Christian. That's in his book.
But Medinat Israel is
No. Absolutely no. Not. I tell you why. Medinat Israel today is run. 120 people sit in the Knesset. 5 of them are Arab from the Muslim Brothers. They just signed the government now with them because they needed them. They need 61. They didn't have 61. They had 56. You need the majority. You need 61. Since they didn't have, the leftists do not have enough to form a government. So what did they do? They convinced Bennett and Saar, righties supposedly, and they stole about 12 mandats. Okay, but they needed 5 Arabs. Now you have to know, the Arabs have only 5 seats. The Arabs got from them a contract that they're going to get 53 billion shekel to sign that they join their government. Now, the religious Jews in Israel are 17 seats in the Knesset. Shas, the Torah, together 17 seats. You have more people with yarmulke in the Knesset than 17. But I'm only talking about the real religious, 17. How much their budget? 1 billion per year. And they slaughter them on the media. Non-stop propaganda against religion. For 1 billion.
They cannot come together.
Who?
17 seats.
They are together, but they are with Netanyahu. And now Netanyahu lost, and they went with Netanyahu. They were faithful to him. Because they made a contract with Netanyahu, we're always with you. We're never going to go with the lefties. They hate Torah. At least Netanyahu allowed Torah. He's not an enemy of the Torah. He's not religious, but at least he allows religion. He's not hating religion. They are very much allergic to religion. All their speeches, there's not one speech that they give without, we want to destroy the yeshivot, we want to destroy the Torah, we want gay marriage, we want intermarriage, we want to cancel this, we want to cancel that. So now, the 5 Arabs, they got 53 billion shekel to sit in the government. The religious 17 seat, 1 billion a year, and they kill them. Non-stop Lashon Hara against religion. Non-stop parasites. You don't work. You don't go to the army. Why are you taking 1 billion? 1 billion for close to 2 million people. There's a lot of religious people in Israel. From about 9 million, you have 1.5 million Arabs living in Israel. From 7.5 million, 2 million are religious, almost 2 million. So there are a lot of people in Israel, they want Shabbat, but they don't want, they kill you for 1 billion. In 1 second, they gave the Arab 53 billion. Plus, the Arabs control them now. Whatever they want, they get. So now there's no more state of Israel. The state of Israel is held by the neck by a bunch of terrorists who are Muslim brothers. I don't have to tell you, there was in the Hamas. They are running Israel. You don't believe me? I'll show you a speech of Chaver HaKnesset Amsalem. I'm in touch with him. He's one of the speakers from the Likud. He got on a stage and he said to Mansour Abbas, the head of the 5 Arabs, you are the Prime Minister of Israel. You decide what's going to happen here. They're all your servant. Whatever you want, they'll give you because they love the chair. They want to be in power. So there's no more state of Israel. Maybe if the government will collapse and the righties will take back Israel, you're back in power. But right now the Arabs control Israel. The Arab, the lefties, and the gays. First week on the job, they send hundreds of inspectors, include to my yeshiva in Yerushalayim. Right away, they come, they know in each yeshiva how many students you're supposed to have. If they find one less, they fail the budget and you don't get money anymore. How much they give in a student of yeshiva? $170 per month. That's it. How much they give an Arab student to learn for free in university? 104,000 shekel. Each Arab terrorist, that's what he gets from the government. How much a Hamas murderer that sits in Israeli jail get every month? 2,000 shekel. More than Bachur Yeshiva. You, a Jew, go now to learn in Yeshiva in Israel. You have 10 kids. You want to learn Torah to be tzaddik. The government will give you $170 a month and will destroy you on TV from morning to night. Parasite, shame on you, what we need you, go back to where you came from, all day and all night. The terrorist from the Hamas, who actually shot kids and killed them, sits in jail. They show you the stub, they laugh. They show you in a video. Look, the Israeli government paid me 2,000 shekel to be in jail. For the murderers, they pay 2,000 shekel. You're talking to me about state of Israel? What state of Israel?
What they do to Taiwanim?
What did they do to the Taimanim? Here you go, very smart comment. When the Zionists formed the state of Israel, the first crime they made is stealing hundreds of Yemenite babies from their families. A family of religious Taimanim, they had a kid born, they steal it, they tell him he died. Where is the body? Let us make you a funeral. We took care of it. They stole so many babies and they sold them to some families who didn't have kids and they wanted to buy them, Ashkenazim, and to America to do experiments on them. They sold the babies to America. They used to do experiments on black kids here. Once the media found out that they do all kinds of tests on black children, there was big noise over here, so they stopped. But they needed kids. They make experiments, medicines, all kinds of things. Shimon Peres made a deal with the Americans. I will supply you with babies, but you have to give me one thing in return. Do you know what it was? Make a connection between me and the French government. I would like the French to build a nuclear facility for Israel. For purpose of peace, just like Iran, tell the world, for peace, for peace. What peace? Israel have hundreds of atomic bombs. So Shimon Peres thought that if I will sacrifice hundreds or thousands of Yemenite kids and give them to the American, one day we will have nuclear bomb. And when the Goyim would like to kill us again like they did in Auschwitz, they won't mess with us because we will have a nuclear bomb. Later, they made submarines. Now Israel has submarines in the ocean, meaning if somebody wants to throw a bomb in Israel, Israel have enough power to wipe out the whole world in 1 minute from the ocean. They can shoot in any place and put, in America, they can shoot 50 nuclear bombs and destroy America. Japan, Russia, everywhere. The whole world knows it. How many missiles with nuclear Israel have? It's a mystery. 20-something years ago, there was one trader, Va'anunu, he was working inside. He wrote to the world that Israel have more than 200 nuclear bombs. That was 25 years ago. Now it could be 1,000 maybe. 1,000 nuclear bomb can wipe out the whole world. That was on the mind of Shimon Peres. Now, if Shimon Peres was a tzaddik, religious, he would know that the Torah does not allow to kill one Jew for the sake of saving another Jew. You're not allowed to say, okay, you wanna kill him, take him instead, kill him and leave him alive. He was thinking, let me kill a few thousand Taimanim, But in the end, we're going to have a nuclear place that one day will save Israel from all these anti-Semites. But where does it say in the Torah that you're allowed to kill hundreds of people, that one day if you're going to have a problem, thanks to that you're going to be saved? It's against the Torah. We know that if we live or die, it's the end of Hashem, not thanks to the nuclear. It's the end of Hashem. Hashem decide if we will live, and Hashem decide if we die. Not only us, the whole world. The problem with him and you and a lot of other people is that you are sometimes forget. There is only one who runs the world. It's Hashem. Nobody else. Not the university, not the army, not the police, and not the presidents. The Torah says that once you become a leader, your heart is in the hand of Hashem. When George Bush was against Al Gore, all the Jews wanted Al Gore in Israel. Wow, Bush is anti-Semite, he's pro-Arab with the oil. What happened? Bush won in the end. It was very good to Israel. He was a good president to Israel. He went to Iraq against Saddam Hussein. It was no problem. In the end, people that they think that they'll be good can be bad. They think they're bad, they can be good. We never know. Even now, Biden, which is now wants to do a deal with Iran and is pro-gay and all kinds of nonsense, and it's not a good thing for Israel. It's terrible for Israel. In the last war, it was a miracle that he did not disturb the war. If it was Hussein Obama was actively fighting against Israel. Doesn't want to give the missiles. He was mamash against Israel. He has drones in Israel to check if they build or not in the territories that the Arabs want. Hussein Obama was a real enemy of Israel. It's all Hashem. Hashem decide. Arik Sharon was a great hero, a big warrior. He was the chief of command, prime minister. He has a big thing in the history of Israel. Arik Sharon caused the biggest damage to Israel ever. Even though he was a big warrior and he won the wars and all that, in the end he gave all the Gush Katif to the Hamas. He destroyed dozens of synagogues. He took thousands of religious Jews from their home, destroyed their homes, gave everything to the Arabs, the whole area of Gush Katif. Yeah, and what happened?
He didn't do it by himself.
It was his decision. If he would say no, it would not happen. And now that's where the Arabs shoot the missiles from, the same places that he gave them. Now I want to ask you, a religious Jew will give cities in Israel to the hand of the Hamas? What kind of a moron would think that the Hamas will stop killing you because they give them a city or two? Where do you live? Their Islam brainwashed them to kill all of us until now one of us will be alive. Even if you give them Israel now, you say, okay, take everything. Take everything. Take the army, take the buildings, take everything. We'll move to the jungles of Brazil. They'll come after us. Check the history. Every place the Jews moved to live, right away, shortly after the Arabs shows up. Everywhere. Jews in Thornhill, in Canada, they decided to make a big mosque over there. There's no Arabs there. They want to build the biggest mosque in Canada. Right away, all the Arabs comes to the area. Everywhere you go, right away they show up. Why is it? Do you know?
Main Street Flushing.
Main Street, everywhere you go. Why is it? Do you know why?
Isn't it all this is Hashem wants?
Exactly. That's the punishment of Hashem to us. What is it like? I'll tell you what it's like. A person has a son. The son is not good, doesn't behave, doesn't respect, touch drugs, steal, go up with bad people. The father wants to help him out. So what does he do? He hires a big gorilla, scary guy, full of tattoos, muscles, and he say, make sure whenever my son is, make sure to be right next to him and bother him. Beat him up, give him hard time. Once you attack him, he's going to run back to me. Dad, I need your help. The gorilla is after me. Help me out. That's the story between us and the Arabs. Hashem is sending the Arabs to torture us already for more than 2,000 years. It's written in the Torah. Ishmael pere Adam yado bakol. We think that Hashem hates us. That's why he's doing it to us. It's the exact opposite. Because Hashem loves us, He did not stop touching us again and again and again to wake us up. That's why Hashem is now attacking the Orthodox people. You saw in Corona, almost all the dead here in New York were all very religious people. Same thing in Israel. They kept saying, Charedim, Charedim, they all get Corona. It's all Hashem. Hashem is shaking up the Charedim. Meron, you know what it is? 40-something tzaddikim like this that died? Huh? 45 tzaddikim, each one by... It's such a tragedy. And another 3 right after that in Givat Zev. And now who knows in Florida how many religious people there. But you see, Hashem is targeting the religious people. Rav Ben Zion Abba Shaul Zatzal was the biggest rabbi in the world. He passed over 20-something years ago. He was Persian, by the way. And he said, if you think that all the problems of Israel come from the secular people, you are wrong. From the secular people, Hashem has zero expectation. They don't know the purpose of life. They don't know what they live for. They never read the Torah. They don't know what the religion is. They never went to yeshivot. They don't know how to get dressed. They eat whatever they see. They marry whoever they want. They do not know 1% of what needs to be done. How can you be angry at someone who has zero knowledge? He grew up like in a jungle. Eat and enjoy life. That's it. No Torah, no discipline, no nothing. Especially in a Zionist communist school who teach kfirah non-stop heresy, non-stop against the Torah. Even when they teach Torah, they teach it like drama. Avraham, Metzara. They don't teach it like a way of life. They teach it like it's Shakespeare. Yeah, like philosophy, Shakespeare. A minute later, they tell you came from the monkey. You have a class about Torah, and God created Adam and Eve. It's metaphora. It wasn't really true. An hour later, 300 million years ago, when the first monkey, there was a bomb, an explosion, and the world was created, and a human being was bent down with the tail, and after a million years, he started to rise because he was trying to get some food from the tree, and he couldn't reach, all kinds of shtuyot. And the giraffe, why the giraffe have long neck? Because the giraffe always come down to drink, but the giraffe wants to reach the leaf. It was in the beginning, it was like the deer. So then he couldn't reach the leaf, there was no leaf, and he was stretching the neck, and every generation had a little longer neck. After a million years, it became very long.